Will you be comfortable if it's like this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
That's okay.
Clap.
Amazing.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's all we need. You're done with that, Jake. Amazing. We're going to start quite broad. So, what does Invictus mean to you?
Invictus means everything to me. It's one of the things that's kind of saved my life.
Invictus to me has been an absolute lifeline. When I didn't think recovery was possible or I didn't really know what direction to turn, Invictus gave me that helping hand that I needed.
It's a space for you to grow. It doesn't give you all the answers, it doesn't solve all your problems, it gives you the opportunity to make choices for yourself.
Invictus means to me a huge range of opportunity for people that are either currently in service or are veterans who have had life-changing, life-altering conditions or injuries, and being able to have sport as part of their recovery journey is a huge benefit. From a service perspective, we look at why we do sport is because it makes us more resilient, it makes us more capable of dealing with the difficult stuff and getting up and going again. Invictus brings that to the competitors that we have now.
What that meant was it brought me back into my military family, and I got to meet people who understood what I'd been through and gave me some support and direction for my start of my recovery journey.
I think Invictus means to me recovery, to try and be the best version of yourself that you can be in your circumstances. I think previously I thought recovery was getting back to where I was before I was injured, which may or may not happen. So now I'm trying to just accept that I can still be the best version of me, but maybe that will look slightly different to how I was before.
So, what do you intend to get out of Invictus personally?
The first thing is to try and find me again a bit. After my injury, I lost my military career, I lost my profession, and was sick at home. What I also lost though was being a wife and mother as part of my injury, and so I'm slowly getting those parts of my life back.
Having Invictus to train for now is keeping pushing me on that recovery journey. I don't have time to sit and do nothing because there's less than 70 days now until we fly out to Canada, and then I'm going to be competing. I say competing, I'm not going to win, I'm going to push myself. A PR in the rowing distance will be my gold medal. Whether I come first or last in my category, it doesn't matter.
How do I put it? What it's given me is a sense of purpose. It's allowed me to realise that I can achieve, other people can achieve, but it's also just allowed me to become a better version of myself. One of the best quotes I've heard, and I can't remember who it's from, they talk about Olympians and Paralympians, and that their goal is to get to that finish line. That's everything for them. But for Invictus, our goal is to get to the start line.
Personally, for me, Invictus has been a massive improvement for my mental recovery. An important part of being Invictus for me is I really hope other people see what Invictus can do for people when they're in those dark places and don't know which way to turn or think that they're never going to get any better. I really hope that people see what everyone's achieving and what's going to happen at Invictus.
Every single team camp I go to, I find that tank filling up a little bit more. There's an emotional surge there that's only come from the Invictus Games. So my mindset has now become very much more along the lines of put in the effort that you can, give this everything that you've got, don't sell yourself short. So what it's given me back is pride. Pride in myself, pride in my work, but pride in all those people around me and the amazing things that they've achieved. But again, I keep coming back to Invictus is just that mechanism to allow us to find ourselves and find who we are, because all too often we're shrouded by this blanket of being wounded, injured or sick. We lose our identity because other people inadvertently treat you differently.
Prior to being involved with Team UK, my mindset was very much in the sick role and focused on what I perceived that I couldn't do and was told that I couldn't do.
Yeah, so initially my injury happened just on a PT session, and it was quite difficult to come to terms with things because mine deteriorated over a period of time, but it got to a point where I wasn't able to work, I wasn't able to do my job. I got to the point of being told I was unfit for the service because ultimately I was left with a limb that I just couldn't use.
When you imagine yourself as a parent doing certain things with your kids, you imagine that you're going to go on these adventures with them and you're going to do this, and you always want your kids to look up to you. And there was definitely times when I felt like I couldn't be that person that my son looked up to. And I found that really hard. But Invictus has given me the recovery pathway to get back to that person I was going to be, and I can see myself now doing all those things again that I'd sort of given up on.
There were competitors there that have just been told no since their condition has, affected them, and to be able to allow them to be part of the team, not set aside and be other, was really powerful. Some of the messages that I got back from the competitors were very emotional, very heartwarming, and it really highlighted for me that this isn't something that is just nice to do. This, for some people within this group, this is critical to their journey. And just being told, yes, you can have a go. Yes, you can come and try it. It's hugely, hugely powerful when something very difficult is their day-to-day life to live with.
Being part of Team UK and the Invictus recovery programme has showed me that adaptations can be made, that there is no physical or mental disability that means that you can't do sport.
So the first time I actually took part in team sport again was actually through the engage phase in the trials process. And as soon as I got put back in a team and the game kind of got going, the release was just incredible, and I just felt back at home on the court, which I don't think I'll ever forget that.
There's the statement, it's okay to not be okay, it's always sort of been bandied about, but I never fully understood it until I got involved in Invictus. Up until quite recently, I thought my recovery was about returning to the person that I used to be before my accident. Now, through being involved in Invictus and speaking to teammates and coaches and the staff, I'm comfortable with not being the person that I used to be, and that is okay. It is okay to not be the person that you used to be. Something has happened to you which has been life-changing. It's unfair to expect you to potentially return to that person, and now that I'm happy with that, all aspects of my life have just sort of become happy. That's what's been given to me by Invictus, and my family reap the rewards of that because I come home and I'm happy. I may not physically be the person that I was before, but mentally I am. I'm happy.
And it's the removing of that cloak that is such a huge emotional weight lifted off you, that you all of a sudden find yourself going, there I am. That's the person I remember. And that's what this has given me in terms of a mindset.
Prior to getting involved, a lot of my kind of thinking was negative. I had a bit of depression and things like that. But yeah, coming to these sports events and seeing the whole team kind of coming together, all overcoming our own issues that we've had, whether that's injury or mental health, it's been really helpful in shifting that mindset into a positive one.
I think one of the brilliant things about Invictus is that everybody in the team has their own thing going on, whether it's a physical injury, a mental injury, both. And so people understand what's going on. And for a lot of us in our real lives, day-to-day lives, or at work or in front of our kids, we're kind of putting on a face and we're trying to be strong and pretending we're okay. And actually you can come on the camps and people can ask you how you are and you can actually say how you are and you can say like, now today I'm not okay. And people don't judge you for that. They don't think you're weak. They just want to help you. And that's been really brilliant. Because as I've said, sometimes I felt that maybe I am weak, and actually there's a whole group of people going through the same thing who I certainly don't think they're weak, and it's just this kind of camaraderie that we used to have in the military, or still do have in the military when we're working, but now we have it through the team.
On one of the engage phases, I turned up and I wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't know if I fitted in. I didn't know if it was for me. I was still unsure of where I fitted into this process and whether or not it would be for me. And I sat in the car park and I saw other people going in, and there were some people in wheelchairs, there were some amputees, there was stuff. And I sat there just going, wow, is this the right place for me? And I got out of the car, and sitting on the floor was a little teddy bear that had fallen off a key ring. London 2012, it even said. There's a little bit of thing sitting there. And this bear had been dropped and it was lost in the car park. And I had found that bear. And Invictus had found me. And in that moment, I felt such a relief and such a sense of belonging that I'd been missing for so long. And I knew the moment that I walked in there, I'd be amongst friends, I'd be amongst people who understood it. And in that moment that I walked in there, I no longer had to hide that injury. I no longer had to pretend to be someone that I wasn't, i.e. I didn't have to pretend to be fully fit and indestructible. I could be vulnerable, I could be me. I could be safe. So the moment that struck me is that, that rose-hounded memory is a tiny bear off a key ring was how I identified with what I was just about to go through. And it's amazing how, I'm happy, I'm really happy that it's this way. So these tears aren't anything, they're not sadness, they're anything. It's that release of just feeling belonging again. And it was an amazing feeling because it's that first time I've connected with something in such a long time. Very rarely in our adult life do we allow ourselves to let our emotions flow over, and we should do it more because it's such a stress relief. This is brilliant, Invictus is brilliant. I found a place where I belonged. I didn't have to hide, and it's been awesome.
If you're considering Invictus, just go for it, 100%. It's, for me, the emotional impact and mental impact has just been so dramatic. I was very depressed, very sad, really not in a good place. And I didn't really know how bad I was until I put myself forward for Invictus. It's only sort of now I would say looking back that it's become evident that I'm sort of out of that hole, and that to me has been an absolute lifesaver. And for my family, they had to put up with me being so sad for so long. So it's been good.
Going through this recovery process, there were times where I really struggled. So having Invictus there was a way to focus some negative energy into something really positive. And I think adaptive sport in general really does help with that, and it's really important. And I'd encourage anybody who's going through some kind of problem, whether that is mental health or whether that is something physical, get involved in sport. It will make a massive difference.
I think I just want to thank everyone who supported the charities to enable this to happen, because sometimes maybe it feels like a luxury because it's sport, but actually it's enabling people to carry on with their lives. It's saving people's lives, certainly on the team who I've spoken to. It's allowing people to carry on back to work. Without this, I don't think I'd still be in service. And that is a huge thing. So a big thanks to everyone who has supported it, from the RBL and from the Invictus Games Foundation.
I guess it's a huge honour to be representing Team UK at the Invictus Games. And I will say, although mine is very much physical and visible to people, there's a lot of struggles behind the scenes that my family have seen and been through as well. So they've seen a lot of tough times, and I think I get emotional now. I think it's going to be quite special for my mum. The Invictus Games will ultimately come to an end after Canada. I'm sure there's going to be a drop-off, but post-Games, I'm hoping to continue playing my team sport. And also, I'd like to help other amputees through the Limbless Association, and just pass on how I've found sport has helped me. And hopefully the power of sport can then go on to help them throughout their recovery. I think it's quite vital, certainly after losing a limb.
From me now, having been through a horrible year, if I can help someone else not to go through that by sharing my experiences, if I can influence anything in any way, I will do that.
A big thing for me is I really want to keep promoting the programme because for me it's been so powerful. If that can just reach one person that felt the way that I did and help them to just realise that there is, you may have think you've tried everything, but there is other things out there. I really hope that my contribution to the Invictus Games and my part of the programme and the journey isn't about what we achieve this time round. It's about getting other people involved for the legacy of the Games so that they get involved next time round and it helps them, and then if they leave with the same mindset, then it helps more people and it just grows, and that for me is absolutely key.
When we're doing the training camps, when we're doing the sports, they are just a very small part of what's happening. Everything we do at Invictus has something to do with our personal and emotional development. So things like these on the media days, us being able to speak openly, is also part of our recovery journey. Us having that ability to affect other people positively is part of our recovery journey. And letting people see us vulnerable, I don't mind if people see me vulnerable, because 9 times out of 10, that's what you need to be able to move on to the next stage. You need that realization, and do not be afraid to get to that point, because that's where things will improve for you when you push past it. Don't be scared, put yourself out there.